Welcome, everyone, to a brand new edition of The Explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? Like you're running on this totally outdated version of yourself? Like you're operating on old internal software, but life is out there actively demanding a massive upgrade from you. Well, today we are decoding the absolute ultimate blueprint for transformation, drawing from some incredibly powerful source material. We're setting a really urgent, energetic tone today, guys, because we are talking about escaping that suffocating trap of just being average. It is officially time to hit that update button and completely overhaul our internal operating systems to achieve an A-plus mentality in life. I want to hit you right out of the gate with this unbelievable quote from our sources. The future is very expensive, and only those who are carriers of discipline can inherit the future. Wow, that is a massive statement, right? Throughout this explainer, we are going to unpack this exact concept. It's like a giant puzzle, and we're mapping out the ultimate journey from that passive, just wishing and hoping kind of desire, all the way to fierce, unrelenting discipline. The future doesn't come cheap, and we're going to look at exactly what currency you need to buy it.
So, let's move right into Phase 1. Section 1 is the spark, harnessing your deep hunger.
When we talk about cultivating this A-plus student mentality, and hey, whether you're actually in a classroom or just navigating the brutal tests of everyday life, the foundation actually isn't about raw intelligence. It's not about innate talent. According to our sources, the real foundation is completely primal. It's hunger. Literally, a feeling of discomfort or weakness caused by a lack of food, coupled with a desire to eat. And this brilliantly illustrates how physical hunger is the absolute perfect visceral metaphor for the desperate ambition you need to succeed. Think about it. You don't start a massive transformational journey just because it sounds kind of nice. No way. You start because you're hungry. You are desperate to break curses in your family. You want to shatter cycles of poverty or depression or dysfunction. That intense discomfort with where you are right now, that is the literal fuel for your progress.
So, I really have to pause and challenge you right now. How hungry are you? Seriously. I want you to remember the exact emotion, the exact psychology of the desperation you felt when you first set your goals. Because when things get incredibly hard, and let's be real, they absolutely will get hard, and you want to just surrender everything you've worked for, you have to tap right back into that exact feeling of starvation for a better life.
We constantly hear about these two major forces, right? Motivation and discipline. Well, here's the reality check. Motivation is fantastic, sure, but it only helps you get started. It's fleeting. It fades. But discipline? Discipline is the required vehicle that keeps you on the road to your destiny when that initial excitement inevitably wears off. Think about when you study for hours and hours and still fail the exam. The motivation? Yeah, that's completely gone. Discipline is what actually gets you to open the book and try again the very next day.
Which brings us nicely to Phase 2. Section 2, the cost. The sacrifices of success.
I'm going to shift our tone here for just a second and give you some tough love straight from the source material. If you're frustrated or angry or bitter with where you're at right now, it's because you are currently running on that old internal software we talked about earlier. Upgrading to the next version of yourself is mandatory, but you've got to know it requires paying a really steep price. Extraordinary success demands giving up things you currently love. Let's deliberately walk through these sacrifices. Take your time, for instance. You literally have to sacrifice sleep. You can't inherit the future if you're sleeping when the rest of the world is sleeping, right? That means waking up at 4 a.m. Next up is comfort. Comfort and success, they cannot walk together. You have to leave comfortable but toxic relationships that just don't serve your vision anymore. Then there's your past self. Our sources literally suggest looking right into a mirror and saying goodbye to the old version of you. Why? Because every new season requires a new you. And finally, your vices. This means completely surrendering things like binge-watching television or mindlessly scrolling on your phone.
Which leads us to a really pointed question. Can you surrender what is possessing you? The source material makes this profound observation, specifically about things like social media. It notes that social media is a beautiful servant, but it is a terrible master. If you truly want to evolve, you have to ask yourself if you have the stamina to surrender the very habits and comforts that are currently mastering your time and literally killing your potential. Let's transition over into Phase 3, Section 3, the shield, cultivating the positivity antidote.
Drawing on concepts from Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking,
Our sources explain that positivity isn't just, some motivational fluff. It is mandatory armor against the daily friction and anxiety of life. You are solely responsible for your own inner happiness, and you literally have to force yourself to short-circuit negative thoughts. Stephen Covey's famous principle shows us exactly how to filter that out. There's this circle of concern. These are the things in life you absolutely cannot control. And then there's the circle of influence, the things you actually can control. The message here is crystal clear. Stop wasting your precious mental energy fuming and fretting over those things you can't control. Focus purely, exclusively on what you can influence. If you can't affect it, you just must move on to preserve your mind's energy.
To help you actually do that, I want you to keep this number in mind, 15. The source material insists that 15 is the absolute minimum number of minutes you must devote every single day to intentionally calming your mind. This means physically stepping away from the busyness, closing your eyes, imagining beautiful, peaceful settings, and actively separating yourself from the stress of the day. Whether it's taking a walk, or sitting in silence, or just listening to some music, this 15-minute mental reset is absolutely crucial for maintaining your armor.
Because honestly, here is the harsh reality. Worry shortens your life and it physically damages your body. Both doctors and psychologists totally agree on the physical danger of chronic negativity and anxiety. So how do we actually fix it? Well, the strategy provided in the text is to replace that worry with a structured plan. Start building specific financial goals, health goals, and professional goals. Replacing endless anxiety with actionable goals gives you hope, and it gives you a really clear target to work towards the second you wake up.
Now we've reached our final phase. Section 4, the arsenal, solving problems and heartache. Look, having a great mentality doesn't mean life won't hit you hard. You are absolutely going to face inevitable failures, bad test scores, massive roadblocks, and deep personal heartaches on this journey. You need a specific playbook to handle them. So here's a quick summary of Peel's key problem-solving techniques from the source. First up, fundamentally believe there is a solution. Second, maintain your serenity. Don't let yourself get angry or anxious. Third, gather all your facts and actually write them down to gain some clarity. Fourth, rely on your inner insight and intuition. And finally, don't force an answer. So the crucial point is this: sometimes the absolute best way to solve a massive problem is to just step away, go for a walk, and let your subconscious naturally work on finding the inspiration.
But wait, what about emotional pain? Let's walk through the specific steps for handling heartache. The text fully acknowledges that life will hit you with loss, breakups, and grief, but it explains that the formula for surviving is swift, active momentum. Number 1, you have to resist the temptation to brood and feel sorry for yourself. Number 2, stay relentlessly busy. And number 3, return to your normal activities, like hitting the gym, working on those goals, and seeing your friends as immediately as possible. Dwelling in sadness simply allows the heartache to win, and we can't have that.
I want to end this explainer with this powerful, highly provocative thought. Behavior follows belief. Let me say that one more time. Behavior follows belief. The sources lay down this ultimate challenge. Literally everyone has a dream, but if your daily actions and behaviors haven't changed to match your dream, then you simply don't believe in it yet. 10 times out of 10, your behavior reveals what you truly believe deep down. So look at your actions today. Honestly ask yourself, do they reflect the future you are trying to build? Think about that as you go forward. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.